Good afternoon, folks. Everybody makes so many videos about collecting, whether they're talking about FOMO, whether they're talking about downsizing their collection, or whether they're talking about how they select the items that they're going to collect. Well, for me, collecting is very, very different. I'm someone who almost exclusively hunts in the wild. Very few items do I buy online or digitally. But one thing came to my mind this morning, and that's that there's an aspect to my collecting that I haven't really heard anyone talk about. And that is the memories that the games recall for me that I have with my friends, and the new memories that I'll make playing them with them. So in this video, I'm featuring 7 of my closest friends and the games that they turned me on to and that I played, whether I liked them or not, and the awesome memories that I made with these friends. Let's get into it. Honestly, farming and dating sims are not usually my cup of tea, but a few months ago, a good friend of mine was obsessed with this game. Every time I'd message her, she would be playing. Every time I saw her on NSO, she was playing. So I decided to try it out myself. I was pretty surprised at the farming system and the large cast of romanceable characters. I was even more surprised that the combat was actually pretty good. I was completely sold when I first met Riker. Oh, Riker. He is dreamy. I had a good time with the game. Will I ever complete it? Probably not. But sharing my love of Riker and being able to talk to my best friend about something that was important to her and she truly enjoyed made adding this game to my collection worth every penny. Skyward Sword was one of those motion-controlled Zelda games that I decided would be better to watch my wife play. Me and motion controls just don't jive. But I had fallen in love with the story and characters of the game through my extensive time with Hyrule Warriors. In fairness, I will admit I already owned the game. I had bought it for April to play when it released. But my friend Zoo's extreme dislike for the game interested me in giving it a try. He was absolutely right. I found zero enjoyment in the game. The non-motion controls were even worse than the motion controls. But the discussions our concurrent failed playthroughs brought up, the debates about 3D Zelda and the direction of the series, the jokes about characters and situations in the game, they brought such joy to my heart, and brought me even closer to a good friend and supporter. And for that, I am forever thankful I decided to give it a go. I love the Ninja Turtles. I'm pretty sure I had every figure from the original Playmates line when I was a kid. I also love beat-em-ups. The Streets of Rage and Final Fight series were 2 of my favorite game franchises. But I honestly didn't think enough of either thing to pique my interest in Shredder's Revenge. Well, one day I was looking for fun co-op games to play with my friends. One of them was Phil. I knew he adored the Ninja Turtles, so I decided we'd give it a go. I actually rather enjoyed the simple fighting mechanics and leveling system. I enjoyed the fun details and callbacks to the animated series and the movies. Hell, I might even complete the game at some point. But what I enjoyed most was the childlike wonder Phil had playing through it for the first time with me. It felt so special to experience that moment with one of my closest friends. Sure, I enjoyed leveling up Splinter, but what I enjoyed most was one-upping my friendship with Phil. I had never even played a XENOBLADE game. I'd heard of them, heard they were good, just never took the dive. Well, one day a good friend of mine started getting really excited about the news and hype leading up to the release of the 3rd game. I'd asked her questions about the games and their lore. If I asked too much, she'd say I needed to start playing them because she didn't want to spoil anything. As I saw more and more footage from the upcoming game, I, as usual, fell head over heels for Noah. Long story short, I bought them all. Torna, and even got a great deal on the CE for the 2nd game. When the 3rd one came out, I dove right in. I was so excited to experience the game alongside her. This wasn't just any pal. Emily was the one who got me into YouTube and mentored me. I loved the game, and I played quite a few hours in. I did never finish it, someday I'm sure I will, but the times I had comparing our progress, sharing screenshots, and just talking about Noah, the game, and that whole universe were so special.
Emily brought XENOBLADE to me. XENOBLADE brought me closer to the mentor and friend I so admired. That's worth more than any collector's edition. I love role-playing games. Suikoden, Breath of Fire, Final Fantasy all hold some of my favorite memories. I'd never really left the beaten path though. I had not explored many smaller or indie RPGs. A new friend of mine had been talking quite a lot about a game called Omori. I'd watch as her and Brandon went back and forth about it on Twitter. Then she featured it in one of her gaming vlogs. It was totally time to check this out. I adored the hand-drawn art style. I enjoyed the unusual storytelling and bizarre enemies. It honestly didn't keep me very long, and I didn't finish it. But it, and Mandy's love of it, opened my eyes to a whole new section of the gaming world I had never experienced. Months later, and Mandy is one of my closest friends and has supported me wholeheartedly since the day we first spoke. She's been a guest on my podcast, my videos, and has even designed logos for my channel and Twitch. I credit Brandon, Emily, Phil, and Allie with helping me get started. But Mandy has kept me here, even when I wanted to quit. I'd buy any number of indie RPGs to keep a friend and ally like her around. Thanks, Omori. And thanks, Mandy. I just didn't care for Breath of the Wild. I had watched my wife play some of it, and I thought that an open world, open-ended Zelda just simply didn't work. I would talk about it on the podcast often, to get a rise out of folks. Hell, when I had my friend Andy B on the show, we had a whole segment on why it was overrated and didn't work. Myself and Andy talked a lot about video games, on and off the air. Our love of Pokemon, the Nintendo Switch. We would even go to war on Twitter with other creators about these things. One day, out of the blue, I decided to give Breath of the Wild a chance, and boy was I wrong. I played straight through, almost completing it in time to start Tears of the Kingdom on day one. Then I played through that straight out. I was so excited I started to obsess over the lore, and soon enough, I was making videos on just that, and it changed the direction of my channel, and my mindset. Andy B was away for a long while, but I'm so happy to see him back. I hope we can resume our talks about the gaming world. But our mutual disdain for Breath of the Wild eventually brought me around to trying it out again, and it changed everything. Thanks, Andy. I remember when the Harvestella demo dropped. A few of my friends said they weren't big fans of it. Fast forward a bit, and when the game finally released, one gentleman in particular just wouldn't shut up about it. I remember thinking he was crazy. There was no way this could be that good, right? After watching him swoon over it for a few more months, I decided it was finally time to try it out for myself. Now, we're not talking about a Breath of the Wild level of revelation, but I must again admit I was wrong. I'm actually currently playing through it, and I am honestly enjoying the hell out of it. Unicorns, farming, fairies, and mechs, an incredible soundtrack, and an incredible friend that has always been there for me since day one. Brandon is growing at a massive rate, and I am ecstatic that he is finally getting the attention he deserves. But you know what hasn't changed? Him. Dude still answers my DMs right away. Dude still jumps at any opportunity to hang out, collab, or stream together. You know what feels even better than getting a deal on a great collector's edition? Being wanted. Thanks for always being there for me, brother. I have your back, forever.
In conclusion, these games don't just have monetary value. They have a deep emotional connection with the people I shared them with. Sure, I can look at my shelf and say, this game is worth $150. This is one of the rarest games on the PS4. But at the end of the day, when I look at that shelf and I see the faces of and the memories I made with my friends, that is why I collect. As always, thank you for watching, and remember, stay creepy.